The YouTuber known as Paranormal Nomad recently uploaded a video that's definitely worth checking out. He captured the footage in a snowy cemetery, and it was well past dark when he was filming. Now,
It's playing tricks on me? I could have sworn I saw the arm go up. Whoa, wait, no way.
what's particularly intriguing is when he zooms in on a statue. He himself starts to question if the statue's arm might have moved just a tiny bit. The video quality isn't the best. It's a bit grainy and blurry, making it tough to tell what's really going on. That said, Paranormal Nomad is known for exploring graveyards all on his own, so you've got to give him credit for venturing into such an eerie setting. But back to the footage. When you watch it closely, it does sort of seem like the statue's arm shifts ever so slightly. Now, it could just be our eyes playing tricks on us. Or maybe the grainy quality of the video is making us see things that aren't really there. But if you're not totally convinced, feel free to hit that replay button and take another look. There's definitely something unsettling about this capture, so go ahead, watch it again, and decide for yourself what you think is going on. A YouTuber recently captured some pretty intriguing footage while they were out boating on a river in Putumayo, Colombia. In the video, you can clearly see something, some kind of movement or disturbance, going on in the water as the boat cruises by. It's weird, right? And get this, you can even hear a guy in the background speculating that it might be a gigantic fish causing those ripples. I mean, what else could make water move like that? Now, the person holding the camera did try to get a closer look, but here's the thing. The water was just too murky to really see what's lurking underneath. You could barely make anything out. So, it remains a mystery. A lot of people who watch the video have their own theories. Some think it could just be a floating log being carried by the river's current. But if you ask me, the way that thing seemed to speed up in the water doesn't really make it look like any ordinary log. Others have come up with even wilder ideas, like maybe it's a humongous alligator hiding beneath the surface. Some have even suggested that it could be an anaconda or something like the Loch Ness Monster. Can you believe that? So what's really going on here? Is this some natural phenomenon we can easily explain away with science, or is it something else entirely? The video has definitely got people talking, and it's sparking a ton of speculation. So if you've got a theory or maybe a logical explanation, we're all ears. The video of this football match was filmed in Germany and later made its way onto Reddit, capturing the attention of users all over the world. Now, if you take a good look at the clip, you'll notice the crowd is absolutely buzzing. They're super pumped and making a ton of noise. But what's really interesting, and a bit alarming, is that they seem totally unaware that the part of the stadium right above is actually shifting and bouncing up and down. Believe it or not, the fans right under this shaky structure don't appear to have any clue that something's not quite right. It's almost as if they're too caught up in the excitement of the game to notice that the stadium itself is joining in on the action, but in a way that could potentially be dangerous. Someone in the comments section made an interesting point. Maybe the stadium was engineered to withstand such extreme movements and vibrations, like it's designed to flex a little without collapsing. However, if you zoom in and really scrutinize the footage, you'll see that it almost looks like the whole thing is on the verge of giving way. Can you just imagine the chaos that would erupt if that actually happened? It would be a nightmare scenario for sure. So here's a question for you. If you were there, right in the thick of it, with the crowd going wild and the structure above you bouncing like it was dancing to its own beat, would you stick around and keep cheering, or would you get the heck out of there? In 2019, a YouTuber heard about a mysterious and reportedly haunted cemetery in Georgia, known as the Shadow Cemetery. According to eyewitness accounts, shadowy figures have been spotted wandering around the graves and lurking in the vicinity. Intrigued by these claims and eager to investigate them himself, the YouTuber decided to take a trip to this unsettling location. Once he arrived, he began to explore the wooded areas surrounding the cemetery. As he was panning his camera across the landscape, he noticed something odd in the distance. If you take the time to slow down the footage from his video, you'll see a dark figure standing amidst the bushes. Oddly enough, he didn't notice this at first. As night began to fall, he continued his investigation of the cemetery. It was then that he and his team suddenly saw another shadow figure.
Hello? Look, guys, look. Is that the tree? Oh, yeah.
This one was peering out from the bushes directly in front of them. What made it even more startling was that the figure seemed to float before vanishing quickly into the night. People who have watched the video were genuinely shocked by what they saw. This raises the chilling question, could this dark figure have been following the investigators from the moment they set foot in the cemetery? This intriguing photograph was taken back in 1950 by Abby Rowe, who was a photographer for the National Park Service. The photo is in black and white and shows what looks like a ghostly figure of a human standing in the basement of the White House. The figure appears towards the back of an area that was under construction at the time. Now here's where it gets interesting. No one really noticed this so-called apparition until 2008. A guy from Missouri named Bob Martin spotted it when he was reading David McCullough's award-winning biography of President Truman, which actually won a Pulitzer Prize. Because this mysterious figure is seen standing right below the Lincoln bedroom, some people believe it might be a real photograph of President Abraham Lincoln's ghost. And you know what? Lincoln's ghost has been the stuff of White House legend for years. Multiple presidents and their families have reported seeing Lincoln's spirit wandering the hallways of the presidential residence. However, not everyone's convinced it's a ghost. I've heard from photographers who think there might be a simpler explanation. One suggested that the figure could be the result of a low ISO setting on the camera, which can sometimes create strange effects in a photograph. Another photographer thinks that the figure might just be a trick of the light, playing off the pattern of the stone wall in the basement. So, what do you think? Is it a genuine sighting of Lincoln's ghost, or is there a more down-to-earth explanation? You know, we've seen our fair share of UFOs pop up now and then. Most of the time they show up when the night sky is as clear as glass, or even in broad daylight with the sun shining down. But this recent sighting, man, it's a whole different ballgame. Believe it or not, this UFO decided to make its grand entrance during a thunderstorm. So here's how it all went down. An Instagram user uploaded a video that's got people buzzing like crazy. What's even crazier is that it looks like the person who captured this incredible footage was actually cruising down the highway in a moving car when it happened. But hold on, because it gets even more intriguing. Just as a bolt of lightning illuminates the sky like some kind of cosmic flashlight, this UFO suddenly appears and starts hovering in midair. I mean, it's like it materialized out of thin air. Now, as you can imagine, the video has led to all kinds of wild speculation. Some people are saying that the UFO might be tapping into the energy of the thunderstorm or the lightning bolt itself. You know how we plug our phones into a wall outlet to juice them up? They're suggesting it might be something like that, but on a cosmic scale. It's like the UFO's own personal charging station or something. But of course, not everyone's buying it. There are skeptics in the mix too. A couple of people in the comments have started raising eyebrows, claiming the lightning in the video looks a bit sketchy. They're saying it could be fake, possibly whipped up with some computer graphics. So there you have it. Whether it's a genuine sighting or just some well-done special effects, this UFO video is definitely stirring the pot and giving us all something to talk about. An Instagram video has been making the rounds and catching a lot of attention. In the clip, the camera is positioned high up, perhaps in a building, capturing an ambulance driving on the street below. At first, everything seems normal, but if you pause and look a bit more carefully, something unusual stands out. There's this nearly transparent, white, wispy shape that appears to emerge from the ambulance. It drifts across the street, moving in the opposite direction of the vehicle. It's got people wondering, could this be the spirit of someone who was inside the ambulance? Or on a darker note, could it be some malevolent entity trying to claim the soul of the person inside? What's your take on it? Yet another UFO sighting has caught our attention. A user on TikTok recently shared a captivating video that showcased a mysterious bright light illuminating the evening sky. As dusk settled in, this brilliant light became even more prominent against the backdrop of the darkening horizon. What's puzzling is how abruptly the light behaves. At one point, it momentarily disappears, only to re-emerge higher in the sky than its original position. You might wonder, how can it possibly move that swiftly? Indeed, if we consider the possibility of it being an aircraft, it seems implausible for it to shift so quickly, almost in the blink of an eye. But the light didn't stop there. As viewers watch with bated breath, the light does something even more astonishing. It seemingly divides into two. Shortly after, a third light emerges, and just as the footage is about to conclude, one of these three orbs appears to flicker in and out of visibility, defying any logical reasoning. While it's a sight that will undoubtedly captivate many, the truth behind these luminous anomalies remains a mystery. We can only speculate and wonder about the forces or entities behind their erratic movements in the sky. Many pet owners hold a deep-seated belief in the afterlife. The story of one Redditor may serve to reinforce this belief, especially for those who have captured what they perceive as tangible evidence on video. In this particular footage, we see a lone dog named Shiloh. Shiloh appears to be waiting for something, with his attention captured by an unseen presence. The video shows him standing, as if at attention, before a security camera. The intensity of his gaze and the anticipation evident in his body language creates a sense of expectation. Soon after, Shiloh's demeanor changes dramatically. The once still and focused dog is now seen gleefully frolicking, as if suddenly reunited with a long-lost playmate. His joy and exuberance are infectious and somewhat mystifying. Then, as if to explain his sudden change in behavior, a faint, fast-moving shadow can be seen on the footage, brushing up against the animated dog. Curious about the commotion outside, a family member decides to investigate. Upon stepping outside, he's immediately struck by an unusually cold breeze concentrated in the very area where the alleged apparition had been detected. This, along with Shiloh's peculiar behavior, leads to speculations. Many pet owners propose a touching theory. They believe that the fleeting shadow could be the spirit of Caden, a beloved dog who had passed away. Shiloh's reaction to the mysterious shadow appears to be one of recognition and familiarity, adding credibility to this theory. It's as if he is reuniting with an old friend, unseen by human eyes but clearly perceived by him. This scenario resonates with the belief that animals possess a sort of sixth sense, an ability to perceive and interact with elements beyond our human understanding. Perhaps in this instance, Shiloh is demonstrating his ability to connect with his old friend Caden, who might just be visiting from the other side. There's this YouTube video from Japan that's been catching a lot of attention lately. It was shot on an overcast and somewhat gloomy day. But what's really grabbing everyone's attention is this mysterious object up in the sky. The person who uploaded the video managed to spot something floating way up there. It's too distant to clearly identify, but you can definitely see that it's oval-shaped, which is quite different from your typical aircraft. Instead of zipping around or following a specific route, this thing seems to be just hovering in one place without any clear direction. It's not moving much at all. Makes you wonder, could this be another piece of evidence pointing towards a possible visit from extraterrestrial beings? A curious video clip emerged on TikTok, uploaded by a user whose identity remains undisclosed. The exact location of where this event took place is a bit of a mystery, but clues in the video suggest it might be somewhere in southwest Colombia. From the very start of the video, a palpable sense of urgency grips the viewer. We watch as multiple individuals, clearly agitated, scramble to climb the side of a building. As the camera pans upward, it briefly captures the cause of the commotion, a peculiar black shape seemingly in motion atop the roof. At first glance, it's difficult to discern the details of this shadowy figure. However, with a bit of image enhancement, like brightening the footage, the movement becomes unmistakable. There's definitely something, or someone, there. The person who posted the video believes that this eerie presence is a bruja. For those unfamiliar with the term, brujas hold a significant place in Latin American and Afro-Caribbean folklore. They are often considered practitioners of magic, somewhat similar to what we might think of as witches in European traditions. The mysticism surrounding brujas is a melting pot of influences, drawing from African magical practices, European spiritualism, and Taino indigenous beliefs. This results in a rich and varied spiritual tapestry, where a bruja might be viewed as either benevolent or malevolent, depending on their intentions and actions. Historically, the Catholic Church has often viewed such practices with suspicion, if not outright hostility. This has led to demonization and at times persecution, pushing many of these magical practices and their practitioners to the edges of society. Given this background, it's perhaps less surprising to see the intense reaction of the locals in the video. They seem deeply unsettled, possibly convinced that an evil witch, a malevolent bruja, is lurking right above them on the rooftops. This video, like many others on social platforms, raises as many questions as it answers. A mysterious piece of footage emerged on Reddit, igniting a heated debate among its members. The big question on everyone's mind: did someone just capture a real alien spacecraft on camera as it zipped past an aircraft? The video was posted by a Reddit user and depicts an unidentified black object soaring by at an impressive velocity. Interestingly, this unidentified object was first noticed by a glider pilot during a casual afternoon flight. As he took to the skies, this object, which appeared to be a strange metallic sphere, caught his eye. Initially, he brushed it off, thinking it might just be a wayward balloon. To get a clearer view of the object, the footage was enhanced. The color was adjusted, and the image was upscaled. The enhanced images displayed a glossy dark object with a distinct white shape on its top. These images immediately drew reactions from the community. A significant number of people took one look and thought, "That looks like a star-shaped balloon." They further argued that the high speed at which the object seemed to travel could just be an illusion, perhaps a trick of perspective amplified by the glider's movement. However, not everyone was on board with this balloon theory. A sizable group of viewers saw something more odd in the footage. To them, the object wasn't just a balloon swayed by the wind, it carried an aura of mystery. Some speculated that it might be a piece of classified military technology. Even bolder, some suggested that it could be evidence of extraterrestrial visitors. In the end, while the footage has generated more questions than answers, it's clear that such mysteries continue to captivate and intrigue us all. Whether it's a simple balloon or something far more mysterious, the debate keeps our imaginations soaring high. Have you ever come across some of those classic dash cam videos that seem too intriguing to be real? Well, there's this particular footage that's been dubbed old but gold. It features an officer on patrol along a desolate highway in Lumpkin County, shrouded in the mysteries of night.
Had the farm, Daddy's farm, still got the land, and anybody coming on my property looking for no good, I'm gonna shoot them.
Absolutely. Whoa, what the heck?
What the crap?
What was that?
Did you see that?
Yes.
Holy.
In this eerie video, the officer's voice can be heard as he communicates over the radio, seemingly with a fellow officer. As they exchange words, something catches the patrolling officer's attention. You can hear the surprise in his voice as he asks, "Did you see that?" There's a pause. Then the officer on the other end responds with a simple yet chilling, "Yes." Now, if you're watching the footage in real time, you might miss it. But when you take a moment to slow down the video and adjust its brightness, an astonishing sight reveals itself. A figure darts across the highway, so swiftly that it's only visible for a fleeting few seconds before it disappears into the inky darkness. The way this figure moves and its silhouette in the dim light has fueled a lot of speculation. Many theories have emerged, with the most thrilling one suggesting that it might be the elusive Bigfoot. The figure appears large, it moves rapidly, and it's upright on 2 feet, all attributes often ascribed to the legendary creature. So, what's your take on this? Is it just an ordinary creature of the night, a trick of the light, or could it possibly be the infamous figure of Bigfoot lurking in the shadows? Mark Television, a popular British YouTuber, is typically celebrated for his comedic sketches and on-the-street interviews. Yet, in one of his episodes, he took a divergent route. The whispers of a haunted park in Manchester, England, piqued his interest. This wasn't just any park. It was a place he regularly jogged in.
Wander around at midnight with a camera.
Yet, he'd never come across the eerie tales associated with it until now.
Even though this place was apparently haunted until recently, and I've been jogging here for a while.
When the clock struck midnight, Mark Television embarked on a solitary exploration of this notorious park named Boggart Hole Clough. Located in Blackley, Manchester, this vast woodland carries a rich history that can be traced back to the Bronze Age. Over the decades, stories have circulated about the park being inhabited by ancient spirits. The most feared of these legends is that of a trickster elf-like being referred to as the Boggart. Folklore has it that this creature dwells in the dilapidated ruins of an ancient farmhouse nestled deep within the forest. Dating back to the 18th century, there have been unsettling accounts of children mysteriously vanishing during their walks through Boggart Hole Clough. As the number of missing children escalated, the panicked townsfolk pointed fingers at the Boggart. They believed this mischievous entity lured these children into the woods, with none ever returning. Fueled by these haunting stories, Mark Television ventured deeper into the park, with only the feeble moonlight guiding him. While the entire ambiance was decidedly creepy, nothing overtly bizarre occurred initially. However, the atmosphere took a drastic turn when he approached a secluded bridge.
9 steps onto the higher bridge. And the thing about Boggart Hole Clough Park is... Hello? Hello? Who's that? Who's that?
From the engulfing shadows emerged a figure, draped in a gray hood and donning a mask, obfuscating any facial features. The figure's silent and deliberate approach was unnerving. Without uttering a word, they continued their slow-paced advance. In a mix of fear and adrenaline, Mark Television spun around and bolted, bringing the video to a sudden end. One would expect a mere passerby in the park to either introduce themselves or at least steer clear of a person filming. But this individual's eerie calmness and approach raised many eyebrows. Was it just a regular visitor? Or was there something more to this mysterious figure in Boggart Hole Clough? The footage comes directly from a home security camera, which belongs to Noelia Diaz. Now, the focal point of this video isn't the front yard or the porch, but rather the street right outside Noelia's residence. At first glance, everything in the video looks pretty standard. The ambiance is calm, with several cars lined up along the road. There's an emptiness, no pedestrians, no children playing, just the stillness of a quiet neighborhood. This tranquility, however, is short-lived. A bizarre occurrence soon disrupts the scene. Out of nowhere, a peculiar red light streaks across the camera. It's a fleeting moment, but it leaves a lasting impression. If you play that part of the video back, you'll notice something even more astonishing after the light fades away. Almost like a scene out of a sci-fi movie, a group of individuals suddenly materializes on the sidewalk across from Noelia's house. They don't casually walk into the frame from some distant point. Instead, they just appear, emerging from behind a telephone pole positioned roughly a third of the way into the video's view. At this point, you might be tempted to explain away the phenomenon. Perhaps it was a simple camera malfunction. Maybe the red flash was a sign of the camera glitching out, and as a result, a small clip of the video, where these individuals might have walked into the frame, got omitted. A plausible theory, right? But here's where things get puzzling. The video's timestamps remain consistent. There's no apparent jump or lapse in time. So what's really going on here? Are we looking at a mere technological hiccup? Or does this video suggest something far more complex and inexplicable? Could it be a glitch in the very fabric of reality itself? Is it evidence of a wormhole or a gateway to another dimension? Maybe it's some advanced form of transportation we've yet to grasp. An intriguing series of photos surfaced on Instagram, capturing the attention of many. These images were shared by a user who detailed an unexpected and rather eerie experience. This individual recounted a recent sturgeon fishing adventure with a friend. Choosing the stillness of night as the perfect backdrop for their escapade, they ventured out, and as luck would have it, managed to hook a significantly large sturgeon. Naturally, such a proud moment warranted a series of celebratory photos to capture the memory. They took several shots, their smiles radiating against the night's darkness. However, the real surprise awaited them the next day. As they were scrolling through the images, they stumbled upon something unsettling. Specifically, in a photo stamped at 3:35 a.m., a peculiar presence could be spotted just over the man's left shoulder. In a sequence of 2 photos, this unidentified entity or object seemed to rotate, giving the impression of turning to face the camera directly. What made this even more baffling was that in the pictures that followed, this mysterious presence had vanished without a trace. Puzzled and seeking answers, the original poster decided to share the photos on social media, reaching out to the online community for their insights. Theories flooded in. Some proposed that it could be a cryptid, perhaps the notorious chupacabra. This creature, often spoken of in hushed tones in Spanish folklore, is reputed to be a bloodthirsty beast, preying on livestock in the dead of night. However, others had a more grounded theory. If the backdrop of the photos was indeed the riverbank, it might have been a cougar, stealthily watching the men from the shadows. Back in 2018, an astonishing sight in the Australian sky left a motorist absolutely gobsmacked. On the morning of May 28th, while returning home from dropping her mother off at work in Hastings, Victoria, June Lynn Biddleack saw something she couldn't quite believe, a strange, disc-shaped object effortlessly gliding across the blue expanse. Feeling the need to stop and really take it all in, June Lynn promptly pulled her car over to the side of the road.
Your home insurance. Stop paying too much. Call Apia on 135050 and save today.
Offer valid for the first year only, not available online. T's and C's apply. APA is an authorised rep of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Consider the videos before buying and whether it's right for you. By the way, I'm with you on the pair.
From this vantage point, she could clearly observe this unidentified flying object as it moved overhead. Being a 22-year-old personal care assistant, she was certainly not someone you'd think would typically encounter such unexplained phenomena. Still, she managed to capture a clip of this unusual spectacle. Eager to understand what she had witnessed, she decided to share the footage on social media, hoping that the collective wisdom of the internet might provide some insight. It wasn't long before some viewers chimed in with an intriguing observation. Hastings is situated just 6 kilometers from the HMS Cerberus, a naval military base on the Mornington Peninsula. This close proximity led many to speculate that what June Lynn saw might have been a military drone, or perhaps some type of cutting-edge technology that the public hadn't been made aware of yet. As for June Lynn herself, well, she candidly admitted she was at a loss for an explanation. However, she didn't shy away from expressing her belief in the existence of extraterrestrial life. To see something so mysterious and puzzling near her home was a shock, to say the least. It was an encounter that would no doubt stay with her for years to come, leaving her and many others pondering the vast mysteries of the skies and the universe beyond. Back in 2016, an intriguing story emerged from India. A man named Arun Raikwar began to claim that he had developed magnetic properties. To support his assertions, he began filming and sharing videos showcasing his supposed newfound abilities. In one of these videos, Arun places multiple nails on his bare chest, letting them stick to his skin. To further validate his claim, a friend or accomplice who was present with him attempted to blow these nails off. Now, you might wonder how Arun discovered this unusual trait. According to the 37-year-old, he stumbled upon this mysterious phenomenon quite unexpectedly. While he was engrossed in some household chores, he realized that metal objects had a peculiar affinity for his skin. In one instance, while he was fixing a table using a hammer and nails, he noticed the nails adhering to his body in an extraordinary manner. The videos didn't stop there. At another point, viewers can observe Arun using a magnetometer, a device that measures magnetic fields, to test himself. Curious about the extent of his magnetism, he also tried attaching spoons to his back, checking to see if they'd stick. Now, it's essential to approach such stories with a healthy dose of skepticism. Throughout history, various claims, seemingly supernatural, often turn out to be cleverly orchestrated illusions. For instance, certain techniques such as placing metal objects at strategic angles or applying substances to make the skin sticky can create the illusion of magnetism. It wouldn't be the first time that what seemed like a marvel was simply a well-practiced parlor trick. However, Arun Raikwar remained steadfast in his belief. He was convinced that he had genuinely acquired magnetic properties, but the pressing question, which he didn't seem to address, was how. How did he suddenly develop this magnetic nature? As of now, the answer remains shrouded in mystery. Whether a curious twist of nature or a crafty illusion, Arun's story surely captures our imagination. Back in 2017, a resident of London named Gary Lowe was unexpectedly jolted out of his routine when he noticed a peculiar object soaring through the evening sky. Gary was on a casual errand, picking up some dinner from his local area in Dagenham, East London, when this abnormal occurrence seized his attention. At first glance, the mysterious object could be easily misidentified as a common commercial aircraft. It exhibited a blinking light, much like the ones you'd expect on an airplane. However, upon closer observation, it was the object's rapid speed and highly nimble maneuverability that set it apart. These traits were so extraordinary that they distinctly marked the object as something far from the ordinary. Gary, a 38-year-old father of 3, was so taken aback by this spectacle that he quickly pulled his car over to the side of the road. His intention was clear. He wanted to capture this bewildering display on his mobile phone. As he zoomed in on the object towards the end of his recording, viewers could clearly see the object's radiant glow. Moreover, the object exhibited an eerie agility as it darted around, changing its trajectory too swiftly to be identified as any known commercial aircraft. Recalling his encounter, Gary expressed his astonishment. He confessed that he had never witnessed anything like it before. Adding to the peculiarity of the situation, he noted that the object moved silently across the sky. There was no sound of an engine, an attribute commonly associated with flying objects, and its speed was far too great to be understood or explained by conventional wisdom. Yet despite this extraordinary sighting, no official statement has been released by the aviation authorities or military personnel regarding the identity or nature of the mysterious object. As a result, for the time being, this incident remains classified as a genuine unidentified flying object, UFO sighting. Therefore, until we receive more information or a plausible explanation, the mystery behind Gary's encounter with the enigmatic object in the sky remains unsolved. In a video that was posted on Instagram, an unexpected occurrence had viewers scratching their heads. The person who captured the footage had been enjoying a meal at a restaurant one afternoon. While seated, they happened to glance out of one of the establishment's windows and noticed something that didn't quite add up. Stunned, and perhaps a bit incredulous, they quickly pulled out their phone to record the baffling scene. Now, here's where it gets intriguing. Through one particular window, it's clear as day. A sunshade, the kind you often see in vehicles to protect the interiors from the glaring sun, was positioned on a car's windshield. However, when the camera pans to provide a view from another window, a puzzling sight unfolds. The very same car seems devoid of the sunshade entirely. It's as if it vanishes into thin air. The video takes viewers on a visual roller coaster as the camera shifts back and forth between the two windows multiple times. With each transition, the sunshade makes its mysterious appearance and then, just as swiftly, disappears when viewed from the second window. The phenomena was so baffling that the person who shared the video jokingly referred to it as a glitch in the matrix, suggesting a disruption in what we perceive as reality. The phenomenon appeared so otherworldly that it seemed to challenge logical explanations. Now, before you jump to conclusions, here's a twist. If you take a moment to watch the video in slow motion, you'll catch a subtle hint. As the camera swings back to the second window, there's a fleeting glimpse of the sunshade. This tiny detail might suggest that what we're witnessing isn't some unexplainable reality glitch, but rather a fascinating optical illusion. Perhaps it's the angle of the windows, the reflection of the light, or some other factor that's playing tricks on our eyes. If you liked watching these videos, then consider subscribing. I release videos at least twice a week. Stay frosty, and we'll see you in the next one.